Hi, welcome. In this video, we are sharing our favorite books that had the most impact in our lives. They have been life-changing for me and also for Jonathan. But first, let us introduce ourselves. My name is Anne. I am a wellness coach. I help people feel good inside out, build confidence, and the life they love. I'm also a spiritual seeker and a frequent traveler.
Hi, I'm Jonathan. I'm the creator of the Better Everyday app. Make sure you check it down in the description. I'm also a huge lover of traveling and all things that are growth. Hence, a lot of the books that I'm going to be sharing are about growth and wellness. So let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to go first. The first book that I'm going to share with you guys is probably the book that has the biggest profound impact in my spiritual journey. Okay, so I'm going to go first. I'm going to share the book that has had the biggest profound impact on my life just in general, my spiritual journey, my, reflection on myself, my personal growth. And that book is The Heart of the Buddha's Teachings by Thich Nhat Hanh. And this book it's detailed, but it's also simplified. So it goes through and kind of just explains all of the core teachings that the Buddha had taught throughout his life, and the way that it is conveyed is really easy to digest, and it was easy for me to grasp the core principles of self-reflection, letting go of craving, and it's just really been impactful in the way that I move throughout my daily life. And this is actually the first book that I have ever read that I went through and I highlighted a bunch of the sections in here. And I was looking through it this morning. I'm like, wow, I've highlighted tons of stuff. I need to go back through and just read these sections that I've highlighted. So that's my first book.
I'm not going in any particular order, but I'll just start from the top. Untethered Soul would be definitely one of my favorite books. I also highlighted a lot, but this is my physical copy. I also have one in Kindle. I usually read my books on Kindle first, and then if I really like a book, then I'll order a physical copy. So I'm not cluttering my house. I discovered this book in the beginning of my spiritual journey. It has really helped me step back from the inner chatter and from the voice that we constantly live with, the thoughts that we have and the way that we comment and discuss everything in our own heads. So Michael Singer has been one of the greatest teachers in my life, who reminded me to be in the observer seat of my thoughts, to really understand that I am not my thoughts, I am not my feelings, and he has really profoundly helped me to feel freer within myself and be more independent from my thoughts, from my urges, my pain, my wounds.
So my next book is a book also by Michael Singer. It's his latest book. It's called Living Untethered. And this book had a pretty big impact on me because it helps you to recognize the things that are causing you pain in your life, the habitual ways of thinking and the habitual patterns from experiences in your life or traumatic events that have you filter all of your experiences through those traumas that you've held on to. So it's helped me to recognize those those pain points that are stuck inside of me that I'm filtering all my current experiences through. And then it kind of gives you a breakdown of how to process through those, work through those things that you're holding on to and let them go. So it's had a pretty good impact just in my well-being and how I'm perceiving all of newer experiences.
The Untethered Soul had such an impact on me, and I loved Michael Singer so much that I started reading Living Untethered together with Jonathan, and thankfully he really loved the book, so I'm really happy to hear that it was included in his top favorites today. My next one, just again in no particular order, is Untamed by Glennon Doyle. I read this during the pandemic, and oh my gosh, this book needs to be read by every single woman. This book is the most freeing, if it's even possible for a book to do that for you. It just really encourages me to speak up, to feel my feelings, that it's okay for me to feel my feelings. It's okay for me to disappoint others instead of disappointing myself. It is really an invitation for you to live true to yourself and just really not give a fuck about anybody else, and really just come back to your own knowing, come back to your true authentic self, and realize that there's nothing wrong with you, and it's okay to feel your feelings, it's okay to feel angry, it's okay to feel sad, and doesn't mean that you obviously leash out on others, but there's nothing wrong with you, and You are allowed to live your own way. So this was that book for me.
Okay, so my next book is by David Goggins, and the book is called Can't Hurt Me. And I'm sure you've heard of David Goggins. He wrote a really good book. He's a very powerful speaker. So I chose this book because I wanted to learn more about being disciplined in my daily life. And reading this book, it just shows, it's like a testament to how far we're able to push our bodies and how much we're able to discipline our minds to achieve, almost anything. So I read the book, and for me, I go back to his stories just to reflect on what I'm actually capable to achieve. And if I'm feeling like I'm having a hard time, waking up early, getting work done, going to the gym, whatever it is, I'm just, playing back what I've learned through that book to get my headspace in the right place, to be disciplined, to do the things that I know that I need to do to be better. And that's pretty much what the whole book is just disciplining your mind and being the best version of yourself that you can be.
That's wonderful. I've definitely seen an impact of that book on Jonathan. I love the way he stepped up and just like has been very much more disciplined and stepped into his masculine more. If I had to recommend one book for you, that would be this one. In the beginning, it's a little hard to read, but as you continue reading, it's truly really powerful. This book introduced me to the concept of ego, and not in the way that in psychology Carl Jung has introduced, but more like the ego, like of the mind, and it's a very awakening book that makes you more conscious of the way you're living, of the way your mind operates. It really helps you become more aware of yourself, aware of your mind, aware of how you live, aware of your attachment to things. And Eckhart Tolle is a powerful teacher for me to live more in a present moment and live more consciously, with more awareness, more peace and bliss. I highly recommend this book if you ever get a chance. My next book is also pretty powerful in terms of awakening, and it's a pretty spiritual book. Both of these books are harder to read in the beginning, but bear with it, keep going after the first couple of chapters, and then they're gonna get really, really great. So this one has taught me about the power of intention. It's like, whatever you're doing, you'll only get back what your true intent is. So even if the deed is, let's say, a good deed, but if your intention was to, be seen as a good person or to get something back, then that's the effect that you're going to get back. You're not going to get back goodness or abundance or kindness if that wasn't your true intention. This book has also introduced me to true power, meaning power from being an aware person, of being a conscious person, power like a calm, quiet, confident power instead of power like over people, manipulative power with money or aggression. This book has also introduced me to the concept of a spiritual partnership where you grow together, challenge each other, and not necessarily feed into each other's wounds, but actually grow together and can show each other blind spots and really get to grow together as souls and not just be, in the physical realm, like look good together, work out together and stuff like that, and just raise children and not have true soul connection. So needless to say, this book has had a great impact into me living a more powerful, authentic and intentional life in a very soulful and conscious way that helps you feel truly satisfied and content with your life.
My next book is Us by Terrence Real, and this book is a relationship book, and the core premise of this book is in the title, Us. So it is breaking down those barriers of the you and the me in a relationship to form that us partnership where, kind of like what Anne was just saying with that last book, where you're coming together and you're having that true connection where you're helping each other see those blind spots, you're growing together, you're making each other better. The decisions that you're making are, good and growth for the relationship, not just focus on your own individual self. Like you're truly making decisions that are going to better and grow the relationship. And one of the most powerful things that I read in that book is a promise that he has you make in that moment where you're promising to be respectful to yourself and respectful to others and your partner. And it was just really powerful to hear how he talks about just respect in general. So if you read that book and all you get is just, you know, the ability to stand up for yourself, stand up for others, stand up for your relationship, and have that respect, that book would just be worth it just for that.
Agreed, that book was really powerful in helping us to be more aware of the constant you and me and individual thinking, and also, but also in a way that is not codependent, because after that book I became really aware of how like our mind is like, oh, you did this and I don't that, and I feel like it's constant like you and me, instead of like, how about we do things and how about we create, how can we find this resolution together, instead of like you're wrong and I feel this, you know. Last but not least, it's The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying by Bronnie Ware. When I read this book, I didn't register it's like, oh wow, this is the best book I've ever read. But I noticed it has had a huge impact on my life, because I think about it almost daily. I think about the top 5 regrets that dying people have, and that shift the decisions I make. So for example, if I'm getting caught up in the hustle mentality, like, oh, I gotta work, but then let's say I have an opportunity to spend quality time with my family, I know I will spend quality time with my family, because I remember one day my parents are not going to be here and I will regret not spending that precious time with them. Because that book has taught me there's nobody who died and thinking, oh, I wish I worked more. And the same thing, it helps me be courageous with my life. It helps me really use the precious time we have on this planet to live my life true to myself. Because another top 5 regrets of the dying is, I wish I lived true to myself. So I highly recommend the book, and there's also an article that went viral at the time when she wrote this book. If you want to just read a short article, if you just Google that, and you can see what are the regrets. But I also highly recommend the book itself, because she really breaks down all the different case studies and stories of people that are very heartfelt. And this book, I hope, will also change the way you live your life, the way you make choices in your everyday life.
Thank you for checking out our video about these books. I hope that you find something valuable or something that interests you. And you know, we would love it if you guys read the book, or if you've read it before, and you could share it with us in the comments and what your thoughts are.
Yeah, let us know if you read any of these books, or what are your favorite books that changed your life. Yes, we would love to hear what your favorite books are, because we're constantly looking for new books to read. I know these are all non-fiction, because Jonathan and I are very passionate about non-fiction books. Hope to hear from you. See you next time.
Bye.